I am so excited. Oh my gosh. I'm just giddy with excitement. And I love that feeling of giddiness in knowing that everything's going to unfold in the most fun and magical way, because Awakening Avalon is such a big, beautiful experience. And yet, if you don't know what Awakening Avalon is, you could be tuning into this going, what's that? So, Awakening Avalon for me is a beautiful book that you wrote, as well as a gorgeous set of cards that I read from often.
I love
So,
that.
for you, it's an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an experience. When I was glancing through the um, the book, I've got a copy on my iPad, and I
Mm.
love the words that were written in the beginning by Lois.
Oh, yeah. How lovely, hey?
Oh, such kind, accurate words. What did it feel
Mm.
like for you when you began to read the hard copy for the first time?
Oh, well, I mean, as you know, because you've published your work as well, like that is this magic moment. Like, you know it's coming, obviously, because you've sent the book in and you know they're gonna deliver some copies, but we videotaped it too, like the moment of opening the box and folding back the edges, and then you see all the copies, not just one on your computer that you've been working on and proofing and everything, but you see all the copies. And I remember a friend of mine said, when you publish your book, take one for yourself and sign it for yourself. And so I did. I signed it. I said, good job, Ginette. You made it real. And I signed that copy. And then I read my book again cover to cover, like the physical
Okay.
one, like the actual experience of the pages and everything. And I remember I finished
Ooh.
reading it and I was like, I love this book. This is a book I would have wanted to read. Even, I mean, I wrote it, but like I would have really wanted this book too. And it was just such a neat feeling. Like, just, I don't know. And again, you know, because you've written and published stuff, it's such a neat thing to have it realized on paper, in color, and
It's
all of that.
it's pretty epic. It's pretty epic. For me, I didn't have the same experience the first time. The first time that I published and I realized that it was going to Kindle or whatever, right? Like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no,
Oh,
take it
oh,
back, take it
oops.
back, take it back, take it back, take it back, take it back. Right? Like, I don't want the world to see it. I just want people that buy the book to see it. Like,
Hmm.
I was just, oh yeah, no, I was a mess. I was an
Oh,
absolute mess. Oh
interesting.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like,
Interesting.
I wrote about being a grieving mother and craving crack. This is not normal. And then I realized that I'm not normal.
I was just
And
going to say, what is normal though, right? Like, who is actually normal? I would like to know that, because then by definition, if we're all following our unique path, we're all not normal, but we are perfectly normal, right? At
and
the
it's in
same time.
taking imperfect actions that we can create anything that we want.
Yeah.
Anything. When I got the editor's letter back on the memoir that I am editing now, and it was a 10-page letter, I was just like, oh my gosh, right? So now I'm going through the organization and restructuring and clarifying and like it's I love it every single day for about 2 hours, and then to like literally leave and physically do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I
given
agree.
me a lot. Yeah, physically stepping away from a situation
Yeah.
and moving into another situation that I've mastered, like carrying blue bags
Yeah.
out to my I got this.
Yeah.
I got this.
It's true.
Yeah, right?
Editing, yeah, editing is a challenge. it's a unique challenge. And I had always heard people say like editing is a process, and you always read that in people's forwards or acknowledgments. But until going through it, you really get a chance to see like what you think is clarity is not always clarity to somebody else reading it who maybe knows nothing about the story. So it's a really neat perspective, right?
It is. It is. And that's it
Yeah.
too, because if you don't know anything about the story, the person, the experience, if you weren't right there,
Mm-hmm.
what is an NDE? What does that
Exactly. Yeah.
mean? And if you haven't experienced it, there is an opportunity through the eyes of the words on the page and those who are speaking. I've read a lot of books about near-death experiences. After Emily passed away, I was just like trying to find any gateway that I could to an understanding.
Yeah.
And yet it left me longing. I'm like, well, that's really nice.
Mm.
Glad you were there.
Mm-hmm.
So being comfortable staying behind is a
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Staying behind when someone crosses over is a big challenge. And when you had your near death experience and you saw the glory of that,
Yeah.
I mean, there must have been a moment where you like, "Mm, gosh, it's nice there."
You know, I definitely, when I was there, I honestly had zero hesitation in coming back and wanting to come back. However, the
Beautiful.
integration of being back, though, after knowing what it's like there and the vivid understanding and visuals and experience and immersion there, I had moments once I was back of exactly what you're talking about, of like, why did I choose to come back? Like, obviously, I know why I came back. Kids, family, purpose, all that. But those moments that just are testing you, and I can
Mm.
recall what it was like there. I had just these moments where I would just shake my head. I'm like, what am I doing? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what? And you just have to pause for a little bit. And coming back to your comment about um, really having to sit in the deep grief of being the one left behind here. Time and time again, when I talk to spirits on the other side who crossed over, they mention that often, that
Mm.
regardless of how challenging their passing was, majority are very peaceful. There are some challenging ones. They feel so much more sadness or anguish or love and respect and humbled honor to those that are still here having to grieve the loss, because they're
Yeah.
like, there's a deep respect for the ones left behind, because there's a
Mhm.
much bigger void than for the ones that crossed because of what they go into. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember talking with a friend, and she had the love of her life, her husband, cross over to the other side, and the challenges with people when she expressed that she felt feelings and their belief that, well, he's happy. He's only happy. He feels nothing but happiness.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yeah.
is a there is a connection to every emotion within us with our loved ones, though they
Yeah.
are in a space of grace and goodness and all that. They still
Mm-hmm.
feel with us.
Absolutely. They're very real. They don't suddenly turn into like a robotic utopia state. They can be in that, but they always describe it as being even more alive than when they were embodied. It's so much
Mm.
more. So the more would include the knowledge of the emotions. However, they also have the perspective of experiencing the emotions with the whole like omnipresence of who they are. So they're faster at um, integrating and being present with the emotions versus the human desire to like run around like a chicken with their head cut off, either avoiding it or panicking within it, not wanting to sit with it, all the things that we do. And I'm
Yes.
really purposely making light of it just for the sake of. Um, they're coming from a higher frequency. We are in a bigger density. And the denser you are, the tougher emotions are, but they still experience it. But they just, it's a very different perspective.
It truly is. And we're living the human experience, which has us going fight, flight, freeze, and appease.
Mm.
That one I learned last week. I'm constantly learning. I'm like, appease.
Yeah.
And it was just like chapters of my life were just like dominoes. And I'm like, oh,
That's what that was. That's, yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Geez, how often do we say the right thing,
Mhm.
expecting, anticipating, hoping that the other person is going to be okay with what we say, instead of being raw and vulnerable and authentic? And
Mhm.
we do have to practice silence.
Mhm.
Listening is very, very, very important. One of the things that I'm learning in my doula, I'm working on my second level of the end of life doula certification, and
Beautiful.
I'm loving it. I have read so
Mhm.
many books that I'm so excited for the actual coursework to begin again, so I can start answering questions. And one of the many, many, many things that I've learned that's very important is wait. Why am I talking?
Mm.
Big one.
Mhm.
Big
That's
one.
beautiful. Yeah.
Right?
It's
We've
that pause, right? Spirit talks about the pause. I practice the pause, and it's a simple concept, but it takes that conscious thought to implement. So, so often practicing the pause is so valuable. That's interesting. That's really
It
neat.
is. It really is. And, we often, there's rules at the dinner table when we go to families and friends, right? We're not supposed to discuss politics or religion or any uncomfortable subjects that might cause us to step outside of the comfort zone. And we can. We can have those conversations, and we can have those conversations with kindness and respect, honoring the different layers and levels of another person's experience.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You one time spoke about pizza. I remember that. Do you remember the pizza talk?
Mm, no. Can you refresh? I mean, I use so many metaphors. Can you
I
refresh my
think
mind?
I think it was like around the time of the movie In and Out. And you spoke about the different types of pizzas that we enjoy. Some of us like anchovies on our pizzas. Some of us like ham and pineapple, and that can become a really strange, heated argument. There's so many things that we're arguing about because of the agreements that we've made. Have you
Mhm.
read that book, The Four Agreements?
No, I haven't read the Four Agreements. I
Oh,
had it around
Kitty and
here
I
somewhere and it disappeared again.
yeah, Kitty and I are gonna be talking about that on Wednesdays when we talk
Oh,
about,
fantastic.
wisdom and the agreements, because I read it years ago, and I read it when I was in Mexico, and, my husband at the time was in bed. He was ill, and I was trying to find a place of being in a very difficult, dysfunctional relationship, and it
Mhm.
helped. It really helped. There's been a lot
Mm.
of books that have helped me stay in the space of the place that I'm in that experience. Because if we just run away and leave, we can't learn. You have to leave when
Yeah.
it's not safe.
Yeah.
I'm never, ever, ever discounting that. But I'm
Mhm.
talking about staying in the space where the pain is.
Mhm. Absolutely. I once had a healer tell me something so similar like that. It was so profound. It was like whatever relationship or situation you find yourself in, it is your opportunity to take everything you can from that experience, to learn everything you can about yourself and the other or the environment or the culture or whatever it is. Take everything you can, before you turn and walk away, because you're given that experience for a reason. And so it was a really neat perspective, because we can apply it to so many things. And it's like you're saying, like, be in the now with it and be present with it, because you're gaining insights, healing, understanding, whatever it may be. But then if there comes a time to set that boundary and walk away, then you do. But you do having fulfilled or gathered as much as you can into that basket of wisdom before you walk away, instead of just kind of running away, because it'll likely show itself in a different way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like that potato salad that's at the back of the fridge. You know, the one that you forget about sometimes. You take a couple bites and then yeah, I don't really like potato salad, but I've got to finish it because it's important to finish all your food, right? One of those agreements.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the potato salad stays at the back of the fridge, forgotten about, like the problems that we stuff wherever we stuff them. And then it becomes smelly and rancid. And if you go away on a vacation, because we like to go away on vacations, go away on a vacation for 3 weeks and come back, and that potato salad is still there, except that it's expanded.
Yes. Right.
Grown into a bigger problem.
That's a great example. It is a big problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah. Potatoes can really grow into big problems.
Yes.
And they can also grow great fruit when you understand. There's so much that we're able to create right now in our beautiful world, just with the behaviors, you know, with our kindness, our compassion, having fun, and doing things that are joyful.
Yeah. You know, that is so true. That's something that my guides keep reinforcing so much, is focusing on the reality you wish to create. And I've said it so many times, it's not about being ignorant of what is going on around you globally, galactically, even. Like, it's not about ignorance and turning a blind eye, but in, you know, once you spend time observing whatever you're choosing to observe, it's what you do about it and what you do to create your reality that makes the difference. Like, that's where our power is. And we can either focus on fighting the negative or choosing to create an entirely different reality in the positive. Right? Yes. And it's so much about, like, what do you want? Some people are here on this planet to be those that stand up against something, that are the voices for boundaries on a collective level, and voicing what needs to be voiced or unraveled or revealed. But then there are others that are meant to lead by example, to show a different way of being. And then there are others to not simply, but like, that are meant to just be them, and their frequency does so much by them just following their true path of whatever brings them joy, right? So much of what we do and the reality we create comes from what we choose to focus on, and we have so much choice in what that is. I think often we forget that we have that choice.
We do. We've become chronically comfortable.
Yeah.
Chronically comfortable here in beautiful homes. 22 degrees here in mine. My fridge is full. I did not have to forge nor kill anything to be able to create a meal. There is no dinosaur running me down. There really is nothing to be afraid of. And yet we live in a chronic state of stress.
Isn't it amazing? Like, the amount of anxiety that people carry right now, just without even, many of them don't even know the origin anymore. And even, like, I look at my kids, and I was having a conversation with my son the other day about these feelings of anxiety he was having. And I was like, where are they coming from? And he's like, I don't know. Right. And so much of the collective energy that we're in is such a recipe for anxiety right now. Like, just a low murmuring of fear that is just like sitting there on idle, right? Just keeping polluting fear in various ways. And it's amazing. Again, that's where our choice comes in.
It does. It does. I was talking yesterday about the difference between supportive medicine and alternative medicine. Because when we say alternative medicine, we have that A or B. supportive medicine works together. And it was just like a mic
Mm.
drop moment in a room, and everybody
Mhm.
just sat. I've never heard of that. And maybe it was the way that I was explaining it, because I love the different ways that I'm able to stay in a happy vibe.
Yeah.
I've been playing with my essential oils a lot more. And by playing, I mean I've been using, I've got these gorgeous lava bracelets,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
I love the way that the essential oils hold the smell and the vibration, and how one essential oil will change the way
Mhm.
that I am feeling, seeing, and anticipating.
Yeah.
And I'll stick with one essential oil for about a week. Like, okay, I like this one. And this one's spike lavender, which most people, they're like, spike?
Yeah, I haven't
Yes,
heard of that one.
spike lavender. The reason that it's named spike lavender is it's said to be the oil that was used on the hands of Christ
Interesting.
before the
Yeah.
spikes were put in. His mother used it on him. And I'm
Wow.
a mother and I'm mothering myself.
Mhm.
So really, really working well with me.
Mm.
Trying new things for me is joy and fun. I'm making a fairy garden for my daughter-in-law, and one for me.
Mm. Beautiful.
It's
That's so
fun.
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
super
is.
fun. I've got glow in the
Finding your
dark.
joy.
Yeah, finding your joy. Finding
Mhm.
your joy. So when you created the Avalon, the Awakening Avalon deck, that's quite different than the Awakening Avalon book, isn't it?
Yeah, the book is Avalon to Aurora. They're similar but slightly different. Yeah. The cards were really my desire was always to, well, it always will be, to help people bridge that gap between like spirit and human life, because they really are so interconnected, but we often think of them as so separate, like somewhere I can't reach there, I can't grab it, I can't see it. And so the Awakening Avalon Oracle deck was a way to bridge that gap so that anybody could pick it up and use it. Anybody could use this variety of cards and the messages downloaded from my guides to help them interpret and create that communication with their spirit guides. Because not everybody has to be able to just hear them or see them like I do, or like other people. Like, everyone's connection with spirit is different, but I find an oracle deck is such a beautiful way that anyone can pick it up and feel this tangible connection to spirit. So it was such a heartfelt expression made tangible from myself and my guides. And I mean, Lois was a huge help in bringing it all together as well. So
We don't do it alone. We don't do it
definitely
alone.
not. No,
No.
she helps keep me together. She's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there were days when I needed help putting my clothes on after surgeries. There were days that
Mhm.
I needed help. I'd forgotten to eat for a while after Emily passed away. I simply lost my appetite.
Mm.
And I had
Mhm.
friends that would say, "Have you eaten today?" I had a banana, but I think that was yesterday.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. And how beautiful to have those people in your sphere to be those voices of comfort, of nourishment, of mothering, of anything like that. Because I also remember in my journey, I always wanted to do it myself. I'll do things myself, right? And at different phases, I was like, I don't need anyone's help. I can do it myself. And it wasn't about being cocky, but it was about, I think, just safety for me. I was like, fine, I'll do it myself, right? But then when I had those lessons where I had to ask for help, and then what that slowly taught me, and now the beautiful give and take I feel when I can ask for help. Because I know when I can ask for help and someone can give it, it helps balance their energies, their frequencies for the times when they've asked me for help. And now it becomes this like give and take thing that I feel more and more peace being a part of,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
it,
It. It's great.
It is, and it's beautiful when we can let ourselves be cared for and mothered or nourished or supported by somebody else. Like there's a beautiful feeling when you open your heart to that.
It's huge. And to have so many dynamic friendships. I mean, we've got Kitty, a storytelling astrologer who we both reach out to. I'm in her astrology
Yes.
course. So I'm learning so much and I'm just enamored with it. And I'm finding that like this time right now with the changes, I'm really comfortable at home. I'm really enjoying the space of home and creativity and knowing the importance of still, life, going to the grocery store, going for a walk, doing all those things that are important, but always nurturing my home, which is my heart space. Kitty asked a question about what oil is good for inner journey work. And I always think of essential oils like I think of chakras. That's the way spirit reads it to me. They show me the names as well as the colors of the bottles. But when we're looking at grounding into root energy, I love cedar wood. So when you're going into your inner journey, like when I start doing inner journey work, I've got the essential oils, I've got my sage, I got my Palo Santo, I've got my diamond willow. I'm smudging up the place, I'm rubbing myself in my essential oils. I've got my sacred geometry. I've got all those tools around me with my crystals surrounding me. And then I giggle. I just giggle because I'm like, this is not the way that my life used to be.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful expression of who I have always been, but who I was afraid to be for a very, very long time. If I would have done that in my past life, my previous marriage, oh my gosh, I would have been laughed at and bullied, and it would have been just awful. That's why I didn't do those things.
Yeah.
Now, the inner work, I mean, the ability to be able to use my hands for Reiki, not just on myself, but others, all of these gifts that I brought into my own life for healing, to thine own self be true, are now able to expand outward. We heal ourselves. Otherwise, we carry that same person into the next relationship. And it's funny because here's so many of these memes like, I'm a badass bitch. Like, I know we all need to own our own power, but is that really what serves me moving forward? Babe in total control of herself. I get all those acronyms that I used to use. I like the kinder, gentler Jamie that is still a very strong, humble warrior.
Yeah.
The warrior archetype. What does spirit tell you about that?
Let me ask them, because I mean, there's so many things. Let me just ask them here. So it's an aspect of each and every one of us at any point in time when we're being called to be courageous in our pursuits, is the words they're using. When you need to be courageous in your pursuits, you invoke the energy of the warrior. However, just like we're talking about right now, the warrior is unique to each and every one of us. So for someone, a warrior in a certain moment may be silence, whereas for another, a warrior may be boundary. No, this is a line you cannot cross, right? For others, a warrior in that moment may be the person that gets to dismantle a situation, right? They're given the gift of their warrior nature in the form of words that gets to dismantle something, right? So it's a time in which we need to stand up, but it can be shown in so many different ways.
Yes. Yes. Yes, so much so. I know I was reading the I have it right here. Atlas of the Heart. Brene Brown.
That.
Hardcover book.
Book.
And I've got smelly stickers on mine. Like you scratch and sniff. I just love smelly stickers. And that really helped me understand so many of the meanings of of the different variations of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I have been diving into the heroine's journey, because there's the hero's journey, which is beautifully written, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
the heroine's journey. And all of humanity experiences both the feminine, which is the
Mm.
heroine's journey, and the
Yeah.
masculine. The heroine's journey is the separation from mother, whereas the hero's journey is a separation from father.
Oh,
It,
interesting.
it's so cool.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of the heroine's journey.
Yeah,
Interesting. Hmm.
it's beautiful. There's so much that we can learn now. And I mean, we've got the beautiful spring and summer months. What better time to go to the park, take your
Mm-hmm.
kids, spend some time doing whatever it is that you love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, take a
Absolutely.
book, ground yourself, bring some bubbles. Bubbles are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Bubbles are
Absolutely.
super
I just looked outside and there's talk about joy. There's a dad flying down the street in homemade wooden go-karts with his kids. I was
Ah,
like, talk
I
about
love
joy
it
right there. It's so sweet.
right
So
there.
sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so sweet. And the things that we can do with children and the things that children can teach us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my
Mm-hmm.
granddaughters teach me so much every single day. They're 5,
Mm-hmm.
2, and 9 weeks. And each one is a different reflection. So wonderful, so amazing. And to see the fathers with their children, the mothers with their children.
Mm-hmm.
There, this is a big opportunity to embrace family. There's big changes that are coming. We know that. There's
Mm-hmm.
elections on the forefront. There's there's so many things.
Yeah.
How much of a difference can we make in an election? How much of a difference can we make in our own families?
Exactly. Perspectives. But
Mhm.
voices matter on all levels, right? Like sometimes we get to make a massive impact and
Yeah.
sometimes we get to make a small part, feels like a toothpick in the whole foundation of a house, right? But our voices always matter anywhere, honestly. So,
Always.
yeah, that's a neat perspective.
Always. We
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of time listening to YouTube videos together. A lot of them are travel videos, but many of them are about the current events and the current affairs. When I was in grade 12, I was before a committee, Edmonton Businesswomen's Committee, and it was for a scholarship. And I'd submitted my essay and they liked it. So they invited me for a conversation and they asked me about current affairs. I'm like, like the television show, current affairs? They're like, no, current affairs. What current affairs are important to you right now? And I'm like, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about current affairs. I knew nothing about what's going on in the world. And in order to have compassion about what's going on in different countries, we need to have an awareness and then listen to the people within our community who are affected by those massive changes. When there are hundreds of thousands of people struggling on the other side of the world, there are an equal number of people here who are connected. That soul
Mm-hmm.
family,
Mm-hmm.
our soul
Absolutely.
families, the people that we come into this experience to learn from and who learn from us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I like networking events. Sometimes it pulls me out of my comfort zone and I'm like, here we go, loop de loop. Let's see, let's see
I
who
think
shows
I
up.
think most people feel that way too. Like I think most people walk into those networking events and it's like that exact thing. They're like, here we go. And everybody walks in. And I would imagine, I would love to see if you could almost like hear the thoughts of everyone as they're walking in, how many are feeling that. It'd be hilarious
Yeah,
to see. I think it'd be the ultimate icebreaker because everyone would be like, you too, you too. Oh, you also. Oh, you. Okay. And then everyone would just
yes,
kind of like, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I wish they were more like birthday parties, like surprise birthday parties when you walked into a networking event And everybody was like, yay, Ginette's here.
Mhm.
Woohoo, it's Nance.
Yeah.
Authentically.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's funny.
Authentically.
Yes.
Maybe I just need to plan a surprise birthday party for myself.
There you go.
My birthday is coming up there this year. Anything is possible. And I think when we live from that perspective of anything is possible, and there are so many amazing experiences that we can plan for, we change our internal, it's like the circadian rhythms. We change that internal dialogue, we change the way that we feel, and we're more prepared for when things do go sideways.
Hmm. Absolutely. I agree. It makes a big difference, I think. And because I think one thing that more and more people, I believe, are changing this mindset. But for so long, there was this kind of ingrained, like below the surface mindset template that if you could just get to this thing, all will be well, and you can stop. Right. And it's like, stop what? But it's like this idea that we would achieve something and then when yet
Yes.
that will never happen. Like things are always happening. And it really is about rewriting your mindset about how you maneuver the happenings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people are really waking up to now and changing their views on and resetting that kind of internal template to really be more malleable in the happenings versus rigid and then having to hit these hard blocks or hard obstacles. They're more able to kind of flow with them and choose.
So true, so true. And commercials always intrigue me. Um, always intrigue me. So we've got the Freedom 55. There's always that concept. Then there's the Bet 180, Bet 360. There's a lot of betting on sports now. Because if you make that right bet and you make all that money,
Yeah.
then you can do all
You'll
these
be
things to
fine.
make you happy. You'll be
Yeah.
fine. You'll be
Mhm.
wonderful. And it's good to think great thoughts and imagine great things. And remember that you are the leader. You're the leader of the pack. You're the leader of
Mhm.
that which is around you. You decide who your people are. Who are the 5 people you spend most time with? Then the 10, you do that exponential multiplication to
Mhm.
see, are you preparing yourself for the inevitable difficulties of life by having people that love and support you?
Yeah. So true. So true.
Mm.
And it's a beautiful thing once you start to see that and know who those people are and feel that freedom to be yourself in that and know they have your back, because that other thing too, the saying the universe has your back, right? It does on many different layers, many levels, universally, karmically, energetically speaking, the spirit world. But then also we get the opportunity to manifest that in our real world with the people that we choose to have in our kind of inner circle, our support circle. And so I think that's a beautiful thing, because it's support and connection goes such a long way for us humans.
Oh, it
It
does.
fills
It
our
does.
heart.
Spirit started singing in the neighborhood, in the neighborhood. Oh, what song is that?
I can't remember.
It's a children's
I can't
song. Oh
remember.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get a lot of children's songs in my head.
Oh,
It's right, but the people in your neighborhood, the
mm-hmm.
people that you meet each day, it's got to be Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers or something.
I know. I was wondering if it was Mr. Rogers. I'm like, that kind of sounds Mr. Rogers like.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and there's a beauty in seeing through the eyes of your own inner journey. Yeah, Kitty confirmed it was from Sesame Street.
Oh, is it Sesame Street? Okay.
But seeing through the eyes of your own inner journey, because there's these generational gaps. And I see that a lot in my relationship with Ralph, because we're 5 years apart. So sometimes he'll say things and I'm like, nope, I don't know that. Please tell me more. I love to learn more about people. Tell me more about that experience. Tell me more about that thought. We can learn a lot by asking people to tell me more. So tell me more about what you've got coming up in your life.
Oh my gosh. Are we talking like work-wise, Avalon-wise? Or are we talking Ginette's world?
Whatever makes you.
A little bit of both?
Oh, yeah.
Avalon-wise, actually, we have Cosmic Consciousness coming up on Wednesday night, which is going to be so much fun because it's a lot to do with the the equinox and the astrology of the eclipse season this year. And I'm going to be talking about a lot of that. So I'm always excited for Cosmic Consciousness because it's my opportunity to just take deep dives, like down different rabbit holes with spirit and then share it with people. I mean, life doesn't get better than that. So that's one thing. Another thing though is we have a couple more dance competitions just around the corner again, where I get the opportunity to dance with my daughter. And for those that don't know, my daughter dances at a dance studio and they also have adult classes. I used to dance growing up, so it's always been a big part of me. And this year, her and I get to dance together and actually compete in a duo together, which in the competitions, they haven't really seen in these competitions a mother and a daughter pairing. And so it's totally unique. And the way that our choreographer starts the dance is it's just me on stage first. So they think it's just adult duo, but then Bree runs on and she's 10. So he hears me and then my sweet, sweet girl runs on and we get to dance together. And so I can't even tell you the amount of joy that brings me. There's no word. So we have more of that. Yeah.
Is that something that you've ever thought of having as the trifecta, mother, father, daughter?
Oh, that's so funny because my husband, we convinced him to dance this year too, which like, if you knew him, he's Mr. like sports motorcycle, let's go build a house and contract it guy, right? Very kind, but not a dancer. And he usually just dances like bopping shoulders. That's his move. Anyway, Bree and I convinced him to take a musical theater class with me this year. And so he actually was like, I'm going to challenge myself and do it. So he's competing too. Now, the cute thing is next year, him and Bree are considering doing a musical theater duo. So it would be a father-daughter duo, which would just be so sweet. So I don't want to pressure him, but that might happen. That might happen next year.
That's beautiful. I remember dancing with my son at his wedding. And I'd given him 3 songs to choose from. He's a country guy, so we got 3 songs. And he chose Humble and Kind. And I was all prepped. And I'm listening to the song over and over again because I'm going to be strong and brave. And I was blowing my nose on his shoulder. Like I was just like a wet mess. And even to this day, when I hear that song, it evokes memory, and music has that ability. It's very healing.
Yes.
It's very healing. The words that we listen to, as well as the beautiful energy that we experience through sound baths, sound healing.
Yes.
I think there's going to be more of that as the equinox comes. I think there's going to be a lot more of a welcoming of that kind of opportunity for healing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. There's so much coming down the pipe in terms of sound and frequency.
There is so much. There's so much. Daphne and I love playing with the scalar wave energy. That's something that is super, super special. Being able to help people in person and by distance and animals and all that stuff. Absolute joy. Daphne actually did on my phone. She's like, Ginette, I know that I'm working on you both.
Oh, so sweet. Honestly, if anyone has the opportunity to have Daphne work with them with those therapies, like You just have to do it. Like you have, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful
It is. It
outlet
is.
and experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it so much that I got my own. So it's pretty
Amazing.
special.
Oh,
It's pretty special.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I took mine with me to Mexico. So I had the
Oh, I
opportunity
see.
to share it with friends in Mexico and a beautiful holistic healer that I met. And I love playing with people that can feel frequency a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I asked her if she would kindly allow me to turn it on. And she did. She's like, wow. And I'm like, now try the violet probe and put it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's beautiful. I use it on my mom. That's why I invested in
Mm.
it, not just for myself, but for my mom.
Yeah.
Because as my mom's aging, her remembering is shifting and her physical pain is increasing, even though she
Mhm.
doesn't have the words to describe it. And as our age group, as our parents start to age, finding ways to be able to help them is more and more necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And help ourselves as we journey with them.
Yes.
Because
True.
that's a whole different, I mean, there are certain opportunities in our life that are quite universal. Aging parents. Most of us have aging parents at some time, or aging grandparents, or aunts, or uncles, or brothers, or sisters on
Mm-hmm.
aging, experiencing that,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing the hurt of having a family member that is ill. There's a lot, and I think if we can come to a better understanding that we're not in the same boat, that's just a silliness. If anybody gets in my boat, I'm gonna throw them out, right? Like it's my boat.
Right.
Who the hell got in my boat, right?
Right. You're sinking my
Unless,
ship.
unless it's a houseboat, that's a whole different one.
Yeah.
But
Fair. Fair.
fair, there's enough room for everybody. But in the collective human experience, I think if we can remember to, like I said before, listen more, that as we quiet our minds and open ourselves to listening, we can begin to intuitively connect to spirit more
Mm-hmm.
collectively. That's a lot of
Yeah.
collective. We all
No,
have the,
we do. Yeah.
yeah,
You're right. And spirit wants us to tap in now more than ever, like to tap into our intuition, to tap into our co-creations with them. Like they really want us to listen more and more and to tune in more and more and to ask questions and to communicate. Like the veils are thin for a reason, right? They are thinning and thinning more and more for a reason. We're stepping up in consciousness, and the ability and the idea of co-creation is becoming more and more powerful every day.
it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I love the word inspiration. In spirit, we act. And it is beautiful. I remember being so afraid to speak to spirit in any way because I didn't know how. Like, what are the right words to say?
Mm-hmm.
What can I say? What can't I say? What am I allowed to say? Like is there a prayer that I should start with? Maybe it's a meditation. I don't know. There was so much uncertainty until I grew frustrated and spoke to my paternal grandmother, and I'm like, Lord, Thunder and Jesus. And I'm like, oh, that might not have been the best way to do it, but she was from Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard, yes.
Yeah, that's so neat. Hey, it's so
It
neat.
is.
Yeah, there's so many ways to do it. It's about your way. What is your way? And if you don't know, try different things. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for some people, their entry in is mantras. Others, it's quiet meditation. Others, it's It's saging and smudging and ritual and placing things in certain positions. Others, it's a sacred entry phrase. Like, and some people just talk. Some people are like, hey, spirit, what's going on? I need some help. You know, like finding your way and honoring that, and then also honoring when it changes is all you have to do, right? Just honor your way.
Yes, when it changes. That's so interesting. On my 54th birthday, a lovely lady reached out to me, and she'd been trying to connect to me for weeks before. Excuse me, and we just hadn't had a chance. And then she called me on my birthday, and I was at my sister-in-law's house, and I answered. And she apologized for interrupting anything. And I said, no, it's okay. I'm actually about right now, so it works well. She explained to me, she spoke to me about someone on the other side, a young woman. She started explaining, and I'm like, okay, everything makes sense except who it is, because it couldn't possibly be Emily, because it couldn't be a young woman, because Emily died when she was 10. And then I understood, oh, that's right. The change, growing up in heaven, the change, and how Emily is living vicariously through everything that I do, as are our loved ones on the other side. They're living vicariously through our lives. How beautiful is that?
Yeah. Always connected.
Mm-hmm.
Always connected. Yeah.
Always. Always.
Yeah. Do you feel Emily with you like daily? Are there ways
Daily.
that she comes in like extra
Daily.
bold, or yeah, I would imagine.
Daily. She's my ride or die partner. She sits in the seat beside me when I'm driving in the car. I feel her on my cheek, the top of my hair. There are so many ways, so many ways. The giggle, the laughter, the things that she moves around in my home that I still haven't found, like my ring.
Oh, that's funny.
Still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know what room it's in. Everyone's told me it's in that room. And we're planning on doing some renovating around here. So perhaps we'll start with that room. It's okay because it's a thing, and I'm less attached to things, and more enjoying the experience of feeling my footsteps. I'm recovering from some muscular osteo stuff. So feeling my footsteps, walking more slowly, allowing the pain that's in my lower back to soften, allowing the pain that's in my arm to soften, just allowing myself to be more soft, which is not my regular. One of the people that is commenting, Joanne, helped me in my journey with my physical body and my struggles. And she said to me, we know each other through an astrology class, and she said to me, what would it take for you to slow down in life? Something like this.
Yeah. Right. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have something like this than an experience that was more, because I think that's what quite often happens is we get these small whispers, these intuitive, ooh, and we just,
Yeah.
pedal to the metal, gotta go, gotta do. And we don't stop, slow down, drink lots of water, eat healthy foods, take a nap. I've been napping. Have you been tired
Aren't
lately?
naps glorious? Yes, I have been tired lately. There has been a lot of like energy and motion, but also density, and then also time warpiness and super active dream state. So like there's a lot of energy pulling and pushing in many different directions. So yes, I've definitely been tired, and most people I've been talking to have also been very tired right now. There's a lot happening in our mind, body, and spirit, and the body is definitely like, Okay, just give me like 10 minutes to close my eyes, right? To try and catch up.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes. And
definitely.
you had said the time, the time, it's not, I don't want to be like time change, time warping, time. It's like sometimes I'll be working and I'm thinking, gosh, hours have passed away. And then I'm just like, 12 minutes?
Yeah. Yes. I hear
That
you.
can't be possible. I've accomplished so much in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Isn't
it's
it
just,
crazy?
wow. Wow.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
interesting.
it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
So we've got the next 2 weeks. I know April 20th is a big day. Kitty's going to be talking more to that. I know that you will be as well.
Mhm.
We've got the moon that's changing always,
Mhm.
but the new moon that's coming.
Mhm.
So
I think it's a full moon on the 25th. Full moon on the 25th?
I've got an app on my phone and I look at my stars and my moons and my planets and my transits and my oppositions and all that more now.
Yeah. Let's see. Full moon on the 25th. Yes.
Yes.
24th, 25th, depending where you are.
Depending upon where you are. Spirit
Yeah.
asked me to ask one more question. Parallel
You bet.
lives.
Yes.
Can
What
you
do you
give
want
a
to know
little
about
bit
that?
of insight into that? That
Okay.
deja vu-ism.
Yes. So, um, okay. They're just showing me the imagery. So I've often explained that on the other side, we are like a whole piece of source, creator, God, universe, whatever your term is, right? Like we split off from source as a soul, and the soul is like a pie. And when we come into a lifetime, we are like a slice of pie that comes down into an embodiment, right? Now, the way Spirit said to explain parallel lives is that that slice of pie actually gets further sliced into many different parallel versions, if you want to look at it that way. Again, this is to conceptually explain something.
Mhm.
Um, it is split into many different parallel versions that at any point you can jump from different kind of timelines of those versions based on the choices you're making. And so we like to think of everything in a linear direction, like a single lifetime moving in a linear direction. But actually, soul's expression is in every direction, which is why parallel lives can also be parallel but slightly past, or parallel slightly forward, or significantly forward, or parallel right beside, right? Because the expression is actually expanding in all directions at one time versus just linear. So parallel lives can also be expressed in different dimensional states as well. So they're very interesting to try and explain with human words, but it's basically
Mhm.
multiple expressions of your soul self that can
Mm.
be created or stepped into based on different thoughts or projections at any given time.
I understand that, but I've been seeing you. I've been coming to cosmic consciousness for a long time. So for me, it made more sense. And the spirit's showing me different images. And I made pie today. I made this beautiful mud pie. So it's so funny that you said pie.
Mm.
I waited. I have been setting goals. That's the SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. And celebrating those accomplishments weekly, with certain experiences, and pie was one of them. So I made a beautiful pie and
Mm.
enjoyed a piece, and
Amazing.
yeah, it's whatever it is. I've
Mhm.
learned the importance of gratitude and celebrating. At the end of the day, I sit
Mhm.
down and I say, I am proud of you or me for these things.
Mhm.
That's been a game changer too.
Yeah, that's huge. Gratitude goes a long way, way more than we think. way
It
more than
does.
you.
And being proud of yourself just amplifies. And when you
Mhm,
tell your children that you're proud of them, they
mhm.
feel great. We like
They
to hear
do.
it too.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yes, it's true. And honestly, it's so validating when it actually comes from ourselves, right? Like when we are
Yes.
willing to acknowledge ourself in truth and in fullness, we also receive it in truth and fullness. It's a very powerful thing. It's very powerful.
Mhm. It is. It is. Thank you so much, my friend. I enjoyed this.
I did
It made
too.
for a spectacular end to a wonderful day.
Wow.
Another perfect day. Another
Thank
perfect day.
you.
So
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
fun.
We
So
will
fun spending the
see you
time with
very,
you.
very, very soon. I will see you on Wednesday at Cosmic Consciousness.
Perfect. I'll see you there.
Thank you.